The Gold Coast, now Ghana, was a land of natural abundance and cultural richness. Rolling hills, dense forests, and rivers flowed toward the sea, with gold beneath it all. But this wealth also brought immense suffering, leading to conflict and the transatlantic slave trade. Understanding the Gold Coast means delving into a history of beauty and brutality, resilience and loss. Before Europeans, the Gold Coast was a mosaic of ethnic groups, each with distinct cultures. The Akan, particularly the Ashanti, were known for their craftsmanship and powerful kingdoms. The Ga thrived as fishermen and traders, while the Uv were known for their musical traditions. Each group contributed to the region's vibrant society, forever changed by European arrival. The Ashanti Empire, known for military prowess and goldwork, rose to prominence. The golden stool symbolized unity and the soul of the Ashanti people. Skilled diplomats and artisans, the Ashanti expanded their influence and wealth through gold trade. Their legacy continues to resonate in modern Ghana, a testament to their enduring cultural influence. Aga Adangbe people, skilled fishermen and traders, thrived along the Gold Coast. Their lives were intertwined with the sea, shaping their cultural identity. Vibrant festivals like Homowo celebrated their history and triumphs. Despite European influence, they held fast to their traditions, leaving a lasting legacy in Accra. The Yu people, known for weaving and music, flourished in the eastern Gold Coast. Organized into clans, they maintained strong cultural traditions and social structures. Their kente cloth, vibrant and symbolic, showcased their exceptional weaving skills. They used resilience and creativity helped them navigate European arrival and preserve their heritage. In 1471, Portuguese caravels appeared on the Gold Coast horizon, altering its history. Driven by exploration and greed, they sought gold and other riches. Initial trade seemed mutually beneficial, but it soon cast a long shadow over the region. The arrival of Europeans marked the beginning of profound change and exploitation. The 16th century saw the rise of the transatlantic slave trade, eclipsing gold trade. Europeans built forts like Elmina Castle, symbols of oppression and human suffering. The slave trade fueled wars and raids, tearing apart communities and eroding trust. These forts now stand as memorials to this dark chapter in history. European powers fiercely competed for control of the Gold Coast's riches. Forts changed hands, treaties were broken, and indigenous populations suffered. the Ashanti clashed with the British, resisting European domination. This period of upheaval left a legacy of instability and division. The transatlantic slave trade cast a long shadow over the Gold Coast. Millions of Africans were forcibly removed, leaving deep psychological scars. The region's population and social structures were decimated. Despite immense suffering, acts of resistance and resilience endured. The transatlantic slave trade tore apart the fabric of Gold Coast society. European traders saw Africans as commodities, fueling coastal raids and tribal wars. Captives endured harrowing journeys to the coast, many succumbing to brutality. This dark chapter forever shaped the destiny of the Gold Coast and its people. The door of no return journeys into the abyss. As the sun beat down on the whitewashed walls, a palpable sense of dread hung in the air. For the souls imprisoned within those stone walls, the weight to be shipped across the Atlantic was torment. The dungeons became holding pens for the condemned. Crammed into these dark, airless spaces, they endured unimaginable suffering. Herded like cattle through the door of no return, they left behind their homeland, names, and humanity. The journey across the Atlantic, known as the Middle Passage, was a nightmare of unimaginable cruelty. Section 3. Echoes of resistance. Defiance in the face of despair. Even as the transatlantic slave trade cast its long shadow over the Gold Coast, the spirit of resistance flickered, fueled by a deep-seated yearning for freedom and a refusal to submit entirely to the forces of oppression. Acts of resistance took many forms, from individual acts of defiance to organized rebellions. Some slaves, driven to desperation, chose to take their own lives rather than endure the horrors of captivity. Their deaths, a silent but powerful indictment of the system that sought to break them. On slave ships, mutinies erupted, brief but bloody uprisings against insurmountable odds. Armed with whatever weapons they could fashion, slaves fought back against their captors, their actions a testament to the enduring human spirit, even when confronted with unimaginable brutality. On the Gold Coast itself, some local rulers resisted the encroachment of the slave trade, refusing to participate in the commerce of human beings. They understood the devastating impact it was having on their societies, tearing apart families and communities, and they sought to protect their people from the clutches of the traders. One such leader was King Agaja Trudeau of Dahomey, present-day Benin, who, in the early 18th century, banned the slave trade in his kingdom. He recognized the corrosive effect it was having on his people and sought to build a more just and equitable society. These acts of resistance, while often met with brutal reprisals, serve as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can never be fully extinguished. They are a testament to the courage, resilience, and enduring hope for freedom that burned brightly even in the face of unimaginable adversity. Section 4. Scars on the land. The lingering wounds of exploitation. The transatlantic slave trade left an indelible mark on the Gold Coast, its legacy etched not only in the collective memory of its people, but also in the very landscape itself. The scars of exploitation, both physical and psychological, will continue to shape the region's destiny long after the trade itself was abolished. The once bustling coastal forts, once symbols of European power and the epicenters of the slave trade, now stand as somber memorials to this dark chapter in human history. Their dungeons, now silent, still whisper tales of unimaginable suffering, their walls bearing witness to the countless lives torn apart by greed and indifference. The impact on the Gold Coast's demographics was profound. The forced removal of millions of people, predominantly young and able-bodied, created a demographic imbalance that reverberated for generations. Communities were left depleted, their social structures disrupted, their economies undermined by the loss of their most valuable resource, their people. The psychological scars of the slave trade ran deep. Trust between communities, once eroded by the slave raids and intertribal conflicts fueled by the trade, proved difficult to rebuild. The trauma of forced separation, of families torn apart and cultures disrupted, continued to haunt the collective consciousness of the Gold Coast. The legacy of the slave trade is a complex and multifaceted one. It is a story of immense loss, of resilience in the face of unimaginable cruelty, and of the enduring strength of the human spirit. It is a reminder that the past is never truly gone, that its echoes continue to shape the present, and that the fight for justice and equality is an ongoing struggle. The Ashanti, with their proud warrior traditions, clashed repeatedly with the British in the 19th century. Their resistance was a beacon of defiance against expanding colonial control. The British sought land and resources, posing a threat to Ashanti sovereignty. The discovery of gold fueled tensions, leading to the Anglo-Ashanti Wars. The Ashanti fought with courage, using both traditional weapons and firearms. They employed guerrilla tactics, frustrating British forces. Their resistance was rooted in cultural pride and the authority of their king. The Ashanti uprising was a testament to the human spirit's indomitable nature. It inspired future generations, reminding us that the quest for liberty is timeless. In 1900, the War of the Golden Stool erupted between the Ashanti and the British. The Golden Stool, sacred to the Ashanti, was at the heart of the conflict. Ya Asantewa, the Queen Mother of Ejisu, emerged as a leader. Her cry, "We, the women, will fight," united the Ashanti. The War of the Golden Stool symbolized the Ashanti's courage and resistance. Section 3. Beyond the battlefield, seeds of resistance in culture and faith. The Ashanti struggle extended beyond battlefields into culture and faith, preserving tradition as a powerful tool against colonial pressure. Despite British suppression, Ashanti customs and governance remained resilient. Art, music, and storytelling flourished, linking past and present. Kente cloth designs expressed Ashanti identity and resistance. Religious beliefs sustained the Ashanti spirit. Shrines and deities offered solace and guidance. The Ashanti adapted, blending old and new to preserve their heritage, migration, and the shaping of the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast, shaped by the ebb and flow of people and cultures, has always been a crossroads of migration. Waves of movement, both voluntary and forced, transformed the region's demographic landscape. Long before Europeans, the Gold Coast saw significant internal migration. The Akan people migrated westward, seeking fertile land and trade opportunities. Their arrival led to powerful kingdoms like the Ashanti. The transatlantic slave trade forced a tragic wave of migration out of the Gold Coast. Millions were uprooted. Their journeys a testament to the brutality of the trade. Section 2. A tapestry of cultures, weaving new identities. The constant movement of people to and from the Gold Coast created a dynamic and ever-evolving cultural landscape. As different groups interacted and intermingled, they exchanged ideas, traditions, and beliefs, weaving a rich tapestry of cultures that defied easy categorization. The arrival of Islam, brought by traders from the north, added a new layer of religious diversity to the Gold Coast. Mosques sprang up alongside traditional shrines, and the teachings of Islam found fertile ground among those seeking new spiritual paths or drawn to the faith's emphasis on justice and equality. The presence of Europeans, while often disruptive and exploitative, also led to the emergence of new cultural forms. Along the coast, where interactions between Europeans and Africans were most intense, a Creole culture developed, blending elements of European and indigenous traditions. Languages too reflected this process of cultural fusion. European languages, particularly English and Portuguese, became languages of trade and administration, while indigenous languages continued to thrive, evolving to incorporate new words and concepts. This intermingling of cultures was not without its tensions. Power imbalances, rooted in the legacy of the slave trade and colonialism, often led to the marginalization of indigenous traditions and the imposition of European cultural norms. Yet, even in the face of these challenges, the people of the Gold Coast found ways to preserve their heritage, adapting and innovating to create new forms of cultural expression that reflected their unique experiences and their evolving identities. This process of cultural fusion, while complex and at times fraught, enriched the cultural landscape of the Gold Coast, making it a place of remarkable diversity and creativity. Ghana. Echoes of the Gold Coast, whispers of the future. The Gold Coast, now Ghana, stands as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Its history, a complex tapestry of triumph and tragedy, shapes the nation's present and future. The echoes of the Gold Coast resonate through vibrant cultural traditions. The rhythmic beats of traditional music, the intricate patterns of kente cloth, and ancient stories whisper of a rich heritage. The shadows of the past, particularly the transatlantic slave trade, linger, reminding us of both cruelty and resilience. The forts and castles now stand as solemn memorials. Ghana's independence in 1957 marked a new chapter, one of nation building and self-determination. The spirit of the Gold Coast guides Ghana towards a future where its past serves as a reminder of its strength. The story of the Gold Coast is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. It continues to unfold, its message clear. The human spirit, like gold, can be tested by fire, but never truly destroyed.